Bats can not only delay a project, but they can completely derail it. Or at least that's what most people think. Picture this, you found the perfect place, drawings are submitted, planning permission is underway, and you're getting ready to build your new home. Then suddenly an email arrives. It's the council, and they're requiring bat surveys before any work can begin. Before you know it, you're hearing words like preliminary roost assessment, emergence survey, mitigation license, and European protected species. It sounds complicated and potentially expensive. But let's walk through exactly what happens from start to finish, and even bust a few myths on the way. Now, bat surveys aren't just carried out because a bat was spotted nearby in the 1950s. They're used to answer a simple question. Could this development harm bats? In the UK, every species of bat is legally protected, along with the places that they use for resting and breeding. If you want to learn more about the protections, check out this video up here. What that means is that if there is even a slight chance that bats could be affected, ecologists must go in to investigate before work can begin. But we'll start at the beginning. So, you've found your dream home, you've been in it for a while and want to convert your loft into an extra bedroom. Simple enough. You hire an architect, the plans are drawn, an application is submitted. Some time passes and suddenly you get a reply. Hoping for the green light, you read the email and it says that because you're in an older building surrounded by mature trees, you need an ecological assessment. But why? It's because features like these often provide opportunities for bats. It doesn't mean that they're definitely present, only that there is enough potential to justify looking. One myth is that every house is going to need bat surveys, but most don't. Only buildings with suitable features or where planning authorities consider bats could be affected usually require further investigation. And that's where the process starts. The first visit will usually happen during the day. This is called a preliminary roost assessment, or PRA. During this survey, an ecologist isn't looking for bats themselves necessarily. They're looking for evidence that bats could be using the building. This could be anything from weatherboarding to a hole in the wall to lifted roof tiles. Inside the loft, they'll be looking for any evidence of bats using the space. This could be droppings, feeding remains, staining, scratch marks, or even some sleeping bats. One common misconception is that finding bats means your project will be cancelled. In reality, that's rarely the case. Most of these developments will still go ahead. The difference is that they're planned carefully to protect both wildlife and the homeowner. The building is then given a level of suitability: negligible, low, moderate, or high. If there is no suitable features, that's usually the end of the process, and you'd be able to continue with planning. But if there is potential, that changes things. So, your house has potential. That doesn't mean bats are there. It means we don't know if they're there yet. To answer that, further surveys will be recommended. This is where the really interesting part begins, because now we get to find out whether bats are actually using the building. Before we do, if you're enjoying the video, consider subscribing. I make videos explaining the wildlife surveys and ecology behind planning and conservation in the UK. So if that sounds like your kind of content, I'd love to have you along. So the next stage is a series of activity surveys designed to find out whether bats are actually using the building. Dusk emergence surveys begin just before sunset. Several ecologists will arrive carrying bat detectors, cameras, a camping chair, and of course a flask of coffee. They will set up surrounding the building, cameras covering every angle. And as darkness falls, they will wait. And for what feels like an age, absolutely nothing will happen. Suddenly, a small silhouette will shoot out from under a roof tile. Within minutes, another and then another. This is essentially how an emergence survey goes, but it doesn't just count bats. It identifies where they emerge, what species they are, how many there are, and how the building is being used. Depending on the building's suitability and proposed works, several surveys may be needed across the bat's active season. One of the most common questions we get from homeowners is, why can't all this be done in one survey? And the answer is really simple. Bat activity does change from night to night. Weather, temperature, wind speed, and even the time of year all influence whether bats emerge and how active they are. Also, bats are really small. They're nocturnal, and many roost places you can't actually physically inspect. Even when bats use a building, they aren't always visible. Watching them leave gives us evidence that simply isn't available during the day. Now, the Ecologist has enough information. Or perhaps no bats were found. Great! The report is submitted and you can continue. But let's imagine something different. The surveys confirm a maternity roost of common pipistrelles are present. This is where things can get complicated. Remember, the goal is not to stop the development, it's to avoid harming any bats. The ecologist will then work with the architect and developer to redesign parts of the project. Work schedules may change to fit with the correct seasons, certain roof sections may need to be removed by hand, and new bat access points may be built into the new roof, or special bat boxes are installed. If the works risk disturbing bats or damaging or destroying their roost, a mitigation license may be required before work can begin. Everything will be meticulously mapped out so that the bats stay protected whilst the development is still able to proceed. This process can take several months from PRA to construction, and it might seem frustrating at the time, but every step is answering a question. Is the building suitable? Are bats present? Which species are using it? How important is the roost? And what roost type is present? And finally, how can this project move forward without breaking the law? And that is the story behind almost every bat survey in the UK. The process can feel frustrating when you're waiting to start building, but it's all there for a reason. It protects one of Britain's most threatened groups, while still allowing for the vast majority of projects to go ahead with the right planning. Now, if you want to learn about the cutest mouse that's running right through Britain's hedges, click on this video here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the field.